each person tell their story about what the pandemic has done to their lives over the last 3.5 months. And may I introduce Andrew Wood. Andrew, how has your life changed?
Yeah, well, thanks. Hi, Al. Hello, everyone. Well, it's July 2nd, 2020, as we record this. And of course, COVID-19 first exploded into the world in January. And you remember way back in January, that was a lifetime ago. Yeah, it's affected my life profoundly, to say the least. A little bit of background is probably necessary. I'm a retired teacher. I retired in June of 2019. And I retired from the school board that I was teaching for, not retired from teaching life. And so I got a job offer from a good friend who's Chinese and offered me a contract to work in China. I was very happy to take it up. So I was in China from August through the fall and teaching there and enjoying myself, Western English teachers are a very popular item there, and I was pleased to be working there. I came back for Christmas, well, December 20th. I needed to get my visa renewed because my visa had expired, and I needed to do it here in Canada, here in Toronto. So there you go, Christmas. And I was lucky. I managed to get the new visa. I was very pleased with myself. I was going to go back in the Chinese New Year, which is like early February. So my visa comes through in January, and on that exact same day is like the 21st of January, if I remember correctly, things exploded into the news worldwide. And the long and short of it is that travel was stopped. I was not going back there. I was not going back there anytime soon. And yeah, I had been following the story before then, but at that point it became personal, deeply personal. I had been working part-time for a small private school here in Markham nearby, run by Chinese people. Very, very high quality though. I mean, they had a lot of integrity. I've been working for them for a number of years. And of course, now what happened within the month is that their business exploded, just exploded, because the kids aren't going to school anymore. And they need something. And these parents glommed on to the to the Zoom lessons, to the internet online teaching that we started doing. And we did some practice runs, dry runs, very early in March, like before the school board closed down. And since that date, I've been working 8 days a week, teaching online students. So I've become literally a teaching machine in a good way. I'm a better teacher now than I was before, but I'm teaching 4 or 5 classes a day. And there was 2 solid months when I had not a single day off, and from my own choice. But you're asking, the question is, how has COVID-19 affected me? Well, my goodness, I'm on this place in the world, in Toronto, where I live. This is my home, I'm at home, but I am certainly not following the current career path that I thought I would be. Meanwhile, I'm in constant touch with the people in China whom I left behind, my friends and colleagues there. And of course, their business has been turned upside down too. There's no immediate prospect of me going back there. So, you might think a Western person, marooned, as many people were, marooned abroad. The funny thing is, and the twist, what I'm telling you, is that I'm marooned here at home. Quite the opposite in a way. So it's funny that way. But you know what? I've got to think that I wouldn't have had it any other way. I've grown. No, I've grown. I've grown a lot. Well, I have more confidence now, and I can feel the energy. Most of the students, I'm reaching them, and they're responding, and I'm so pleased with that. Here, bottom line, because I'm not going to continue. Bottom line, I am working more as a teacher now than I ever did during the 25 years of my career before now, and it's better teaching. I'm reaching a higher quality student. They're all working at the required level, almost all of them, and it's fun for me. It's a lot of work. I'm tired, but ironically, the COVID-19 has done two things. It's both turned my life upside down and given me a new professional lease on life and new challenges. So there you go. Isn't that amazing?
Thank you very much, Andrew. That's a very telling story. Mario, could you tell us your story now?
Well, thank you very much, Al. My story, as a matter of fact, the new year began with a cough. It began with a cough, a fever, the chills. It began with running nose, temperature of nearly 38, 39, and I was feeling miserable. I tried to go to walk-in clinics. I tried to see my own doctor, first of all, and they were just too busy to see me. I tried to go into walk-in clinics, and what I found out was that walk-in clinics were all closing their doors because there were so many people that were trying to get in to see a doctor that it was just becoming impossible to see them. So eventually, I finally got an opportunity about a week and a half after the initial onset, still feeling really miserable, to go and see my GP, my doctor, who told me that it's a virus and you're just going to have to deal with it. There's nothing much you can do about it, and just going to have to run its course. Now, by that time, COVID was not even a word we had heard in public yet. But I'm one of those quintessential stories that you've heard many people believe that they had COVID before COVID became mainstream. So I was starting to feel that now that I look back at it, and I'm pretty sure, even though I haven't been tested, I am pretty sure that I'm one of those people that probably had it, because believe me, I was at the moment that I was feeling this is just too much. It's probably the worst flu that I've ever had in my life. Thankfully, I recovered, and I had a residual cough for a little while, which finally got away, and I was happy that it went away, because at the end of March, at the end of February, actually, I had a competition that I was going to be part of, a professional speaking competition that I was involved with, called Speaker Slam, that I was going to compete and give a speech, an inspirational speech. And I was trying to rehearse through all those moments that I was not feeling well, and trying to get my thoughts together, and kind of worried that hopefully that this thing will let go of me. The February 26th day when the competition actually happened was the time for the last meeting that they ever had, the last competition that they had, where live audiences were allowed in big groups. And during the competition, as some of you guys know, I came in second, and I'm now qualified to go to the Grand Slam at the finals that are coming in November of this year. Hopefully we'll be able to meet in person. But after that, all hell broke loose, because we all got closed in. My life turned inside out, and my wife, who works in healthcare, was also affected by this. We were feeling scared. We were feeling uncertain. We started to do our social distancing and being extremely diligent about everything that was around us, from dealing with shopping and cleaning products and cleaning surfaces, and making sure that we're keeping our distance when we're out in public with people. So it changed our lifestyle quite a bit, and still is affecting us to a large degree. From a psychological perspective, we have pretty much fared okay. I've been pretty much working on the next manifestation of my particular life, which is going professional as a speaker and also as an author. So I've been working to put the finishing touches on my book. So keeping in close proximity in the house really didn't take me away from my particular objectives that I was doing. But it certainly put a tailspin on my ability to speak in public and in front of a live audience. So this beautiful medium here became available because most of us gravitated to Zoom. And from that point on, I have been doing a lot of Zoom learning and speaking here. So I am very optimistic from my perspective that things are going to be moving forward for me. Hopefully sooner rather than later, being able to get in front of an audience again and going from there. But you know what? I have to say, from a different perspective, though, I'm also feeling really sad. I'm feeling down that I'm seeing all the death, the destruction that families have gone through, businesses have gone through. What's going down in the United States, as Andrew said, it's July 2nd right now, and we're seeing a huge resurgence in the United States. And the fear of traveling and fear of having people up here is, in Canada and around the world, is something that is concerning. You can't turn the television on without seeing death all around you. And of course, the political spin as well, which we can talk about at another time. But I'm hoping that there's going to be the kindness of people that will prevail over political and greed and all that kind of stuff that is trying to interfere, and that we can see a brand new world, a new world that will kind of turn around what we've seen in the past and bring something a little bit more of a social conscience to us. So I'm going to leave it at that right now. Back to you, Al.
Thank you very much, Mario. Sarab, can you give us your description of what happened to you during the pandemic so far?
Well, yeah. Well, I want to start with today, actually. Now, I'm going to take off from the present day. We've on 50,000 COVID cases were discovered today in one day. Now, how could that be possible unless they've increased testing? They tested 600,000 people, and these are the guys they found who were infected. But not all infections cause death or problems. Some people just recover after a week, 6 weeks of minor illness. But keeping that in mind, as Mario was saying, my son-in-law got sick, very sick in November. And he gave that sickness to my son, who was very bad in I think, beginning of December. And he was the worst flu that I ever had. I've been telling him to do an antibody test to see whether he had COVID, because I'm 100% sure he did. And that's good, because you'll never get it again, hopefully. But my take on all this is man-made, definitely. And technically, it is used to protect the planet. You know, the powers that be want to save this planet. And how do you save it? How do you reduce consumption? How do you... 100,000 tons per day of CO2 was being exhibited or expelled into the air. Now you have 83,000 tons. That means there's a 17,000 difference in only 3 months with the non-consumption. If this keeps on going, we're paying a small price to save the planet, because we only have one planet. If you can't save it, all this COVID and all this is useless. So I have a feeling that this is the whole concept worldwide has been engineered by somebody. Okay, I could be wrong. People do die, but that is the collateral damage they're going to accept for bringing in new rules, new regulation with the consumption, a new way of life. It'll reduce the economy substantially. Sorry, that was my wife making noise. So, having said that, I hope nobody gets COVID. a little simple precaution. If you take yourself, you protect yourself, you are one unit. You only can get it if you get it from somebody. But if you don't give it out to anybody, you are protected and you are protecting others also. So the best way is to put a mask. Everything will go away because the host needs, the virus needs a host. And once we keep giving them new hosts, they keep on multiplying and being alive. If there's no host left, they will just die. They won't be there. But we keep on giving them new hosts. And how do we prevent that? If you can protect yourself, everybody does that. The problem is only one guy has not to do it. You're back to square one. Because, and many countries like South Korea and Japan are very strict about this. Everybody is wearing a mask. That's why they don't have this resurgence problem. Or for the resurgence, if they want politically motivated, they can put a little bit of virus everywhere they want resurgence to take place, right? They know they can control it. Because this is, I'm talking like what the powers be are trying to do. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But the way, if you notice the various hotspots, London, Italy, there were only certain places and there were different strains of COVID. If there's a COVID in the same one, how can there be different strains? There are different strains in different cities. America is a different one. US was a different one. UK was a different one. So having said that, I'm just saying that we have to protect ourselves. The economy is going to change the way we do business. It's going to revise everything and slowly we'll come out of it. And with that, back to you, Alex. Alex?
Very well. Thank you very much, Rab. I'll give you my story as well. Back in January, my girlfriend and I went to Europe and we were tooling around there. And we first heard about a bit of the pandemic through stories that I was reading on Facebook about it. We came back, though, before the end of January, before the thing really got going. And it didn't make much difference at the beginning. We had other problems to do. My girlfriend had a tooth problem. She needed a root canal, and that was much more painful than getting a flu virus, although probably far less deadly. But towards the end of February, as the news came in, my girlfriend was getting a little bit excited about the whole thing. She forced us to fill our refrigerators with food and to buy extra toilet paper. You know, I really wasn't big on that thing. I figured, well, the world is not going to run out of toilet paper or Kleenexes or anything else. And I wasn't so sure that the grocery stores were going to run out of foodstuff. Sad to say, as the weeks progressed, I observed a lot of things that were going on. For example, everybody was going to Costco and walking out with 2 or 3 of these big, humongous cases of toilet paper and Kleenex and anything you wanted. And the grocery store near me, Loblaws, was actually running out of some staples such as tinned fish, pastas, and other things like this, something I've never seen before. And as the 1st of March came around, there was so much news coming on this story that I started getting a little worried myself. I did stock up on some toilet paper and I think some Kleenex as well. But as far as food is concerned, well, yeah, okay. I did what my girlfriend told me to do. You got to do that sometimes, don't you? Well, by the middle of March, when the pandemic was called, it finally became quite clear and stark, and I was getting extremely worried about the whole thing. And then when the government started locking everything down, we had to make some rather hard choices. And I decided that my girlfriend should come and stay with me. So the big thing that happened as a consequence of this pandemic is something that was probably going to happen in the long run, which was my girlfriend was going to come and live with me. But I think it would have been better if it had lasted a little longer in the build up to it, because starting to live with someone on a regular basis is a big thing, as everybody that's ever got married and knows. And there's a lot of a learning curve. Like I just thought originally, for the sake of the pandemic, I'd invite her to stay at my place, and afterwards we'd go back to what we had. Then she had to start bringing all her stuff. She couldn't just live in my world by herself. She had to have all her stuff. And she was actually, like, both of us have actually continued working, although not really having much to do. This has been, in a way, a 3-month paid vacation for both of us, which is a good thing, because otherwise we would have had the same problem that many people have, which is running out of cash. Easy to do in a situation like this, because interestingly enough, so many people live so close to the wire when it comes to their income. Nobody could ever have planned this pandemic. Nevertheless, we got along and we started to integrate our lives and coming together. And the biggest issue was trying to build a routine, because we both like the same thing, which is to go outside and walk around and enjoy the fresh air. And also there was our own peculiar habits that we had to adjust for. Certainly when you're living with someone, you simply have to learn to accommodate them. And this is the biggest thing that has happened to me over this period. Now I have to say that I also felt a little socially ostracized because of what happened. I like to go to Toastmasters meetings, and I regularly go once a week to the various clubs that I belong to. And also I lead hikes on the for the Toronto Bruce Trail Club. And I'd be doing
Yeah. We've lost the audio.
Okay, the idea, we get the point now. I don't want to stop the thing here. I don't think he's updated it. He's given a request. Al.
Once every 2 weeks, I take out a group of 30 or 40 people. Sarab?
Yeah.
What happened there?
You were.
We lost you.
Yeah, we lost you for about a minute and a half.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, you were. No.
Yeah, and it's still sluggish. You can stop the recording, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got what we wanted.
Yeah,